Hello guys, welcome back to Hollywood Recapped. Today I'm going to explain a romantic thriller movie from 2005 titled The Ballad of Jack and Rose. It tells the story of a father and daughter who live on an isolated island. When the father invites his girlfriend to stay in, his daughter becomes jealous of her as she is in love with her father. To know what takes place, please watch until the end. The movie is set in the year 1986, where a Scottish farmer Jack Slavin lives with his daughter Rose on an island. The island used to be a hippie commune decades ago, but now builders want to build homes in the region and settle with their families. Jack is attempting to do everything he can to hold the builders away from the island. Rose, on the other hand, is a beautiful teenager who grew up remoted from the outside world after her mom left the family. Jack homeschooled Rose and took care of her. Jack has a coronary heart disorder and he doesn't have plenty time left. So he tells Rose that they must hire someone to assist them. But Rose doesn't want anybody else to come into their life and angrily leaves. She runs to her treehouse and starts crying. Jack goes after her and tells Rose that he will soon die. But Rose replies that the day he dies will also be her last day. For Rose, Jack is the only individual in her life she loves him and is afraid of losing him. Besides him, Rose will be completely alone as she has no one in her life except Jack. After telling her a story, Jack leaves for a nearby town, saying that he has some work to do. After reaching the town, Jack goes to the house of a lady named Kathleen. She is the female friend of Jack and they have been in a relationship for some time. Jack asks Kathleen to move into his house and live with him. He additionally tells her that she can carry over her 2 kids as nicely to stay with him. Kathleen accepts his request and asks him if Rose knows about this. To which Jack replies that he will take care of her. Jack returns home and tells Rose that he has invited some friends to stay with them for a while as an experiment. The subsequent day, Kathleen arrives with her 2 sons, named Thaddeus and Rodney. Jack and Rose welcome them and assist them get their things, but after seeing their luggage and belongings, Rose realizes that they are going to stay for a long time. Rose is disturbed by the arrival of the new faces and feels cast off from her own house. Rose is upset with Jack and leaves. Jack goes after her and tries speaking to her, but Rose is irritated with him. As Jack had kept his relationship with Kathleen a secret, Jack explains that this is simply an experiment and nothing else. If Rose starts liking Kathleen and her teenagers, then they can all stay together. However, if not, then Jack will ask them to leave. Later that day, Thaddeus approaches Rose and asks her to show him any nearby places where he can capture snakes. Rose takes him to the woods and Thaddeus sets up his trap. Thaddeus is attracted to her, but Rose doesn't like him. Later that night time, Rose returns home and heads to her room. On her way, she hears Jack and Kathleen laughing. Rose enters a small room to spy on them and sees them making love in bed. She goes to her room, takes off her top and looks at her body. Rose develops an unusual jealousy towards Kathleen as she feels that Kathleen is stealing Jack from her. Rose goes downstairs topless and asks Rodney to mate with her. She thinks that if she loses her virginity, then Jack will love her again. Rodney is shocked by this and refuses to mate with her. He tries to reason her. However, Rose pursues him to mate with her. However, Rodney is a man of commitment who with courtesy turns her down. Instead, he gives Rose a new haircut. After getting the haircut, Rose grabs the shotgun and heads straight to her father's bedroom. Kathleen wakes up and is scared to see Rose pointing a gun at them. Rose is startled via her and drops the gun, which by accident misfires. Jack takes Rose to her room and is in complete disbelief. But he quickly forgets about the incident and thinks that she did it just to scare Kathleen. On the other hand, Kathleen thinks that Rose has some psychological troubles and suggests Jack to send Rose to schools for children with problems. But Jack gets angry through this and tells Kathleen that there is nothing incorrect with Rose. All she wants is for Kathleen to take care of Rose after he dies. Time passes by and Rose and Rodney become true friends. One day, a man named Gray comes to their house who frequently deliver flowers to Rose and Jack. Later, Rose requests Gray to instruct her how to kiss. Gray explains to Rose that her first kiss should have to be romantic and accidental, not deliberate. Rose tells him that he can romantically kiss her, however Gray refuses and leaves. One day, Rodney and Rose go to the docks to receive Rodney's buddy. After reaching home, Rose shows Rodney's buddy her treehouse, where they have exciting all day. Later that night time, Rose goes to the woods and finds a copperhead trapped in Thaddeus' trap. Rose decides to carry it with her. While returning, Rose catches Redberry and Thaddeus mating in his car. Since Rose was turned down through both Rodney and Gray, she decides to lose her virginity to Thaddeus. Rose returns home and puts the copperhead below her bed. Later, Thaddeus enters Rose's room. Although Rose dislikes him, she allows him to mate with her. Due to the vibration of the bed, the lock of the cage drops open and the copperhead escapes into a hole. After Thaddeus leaves, Rose checks her sheets, where she finds blood stains and dances in exhilaration. The subsequent morning, when Jack is chilling outside, he sees that Rose has hanged her bloody bed sheet into the front yard and has written "just an experiment." Jack is devastated to learn that his daughter has been ruined. Just when he is about to scold Rose, Kathleen cries out loud as she sees the copperhead in the bedroom. Jack tries to discover the copperhead and get rid of it before it kills anyone. Meanwhile, Thaddeus finds his cage under Rose's bed. Rose explains that she just wanted to scare Kathleen and nothing more. After dealing with the copperhead, Jack confronts Thaddeus and tells him one day to pass out for ruining his daughter. Later that night, Rose holds a screening of a homemade film about the hippie commune in her treehouse. While everyone enjoys the movie, Thaddeus tries to kiss Rose. Jack is furious at him and attacks him during the scuffle. Rose pushes Thaddeus, who then falls from the treehouse. Kathleen is angry at Rose and tells her to leave. Thaddeus survives the fall and is rushed to the hospital. Rodney asks Rose to come with him and leave the island, but Rose politely declines, saying that she cannot leave Jack, not in his current situation. But Rose is upset with Jack for not having the braveness to express his love and runs away. She goes to one of the housing developments to spend some time alone. Jack waits for days for Rose to return home. But she does not come back. Jack is tired of waiting and heads out to locate Rose. He finds her in one of the housing developments and apologizes to Rose, saying that he have in no way let the outside world in. He was scared that after his demise there would be no one to take care of Rose. Rose says that she would not prefer to see Kathleen again. No longer after what happened at the treehouse. Jack realizes that he has to choose between his girlfriend and daughter. So he leaves, saying that he has to take care of a transaction. He returns home and offers Kathleen $10,000, then $15,000 to have her move out. Kathleen consents to depart at $20,000. Jack returns to the housing development and tells Rose that Kathleen is leaving. Rose is delighted with the news as it's again simply the two of them now. Jack and Rose spend the night time there as Kathleen will be leaving. The next day, Jack lies down on the bed and Rose joins him. As they look at each other, Rose kisses Jack. Jack is shocked by this and cannot believe that his daughter is in love with him. He also blames himself for allowing her to kiss him and cries. The subsequent morning, Jack wakes up and is still haunted by the memory of the kiss. He gets on the bulldozer and destroys the housing development. Later, he and Rose go to the residence of the housing developer Marty Rance. Jack desired to inform him that he destroyed the housing development, but Marty says that he can construct it again without any problem. He additionally gives Jack a large sum of money to purchase his land. Jack breaks down as he has no fight left in him and consents to sell his land to Marty. Rose is upset through his decision and doesn't want Jack to give up. However, Jack has made up his mind as he needs Rose to have a future. Rose and Jack return home and see that Kathleen has left. Jack is now very weak due to the fact of the heart ailment and doesn't have plenty time left. The next morning, Rose wakes up and sees that Jack has died in his sleep. Since Rose had originally planned to kill herself when Jack would die. She lies next to her father and sets the house on blaze. However, sometime later she changes her mind and escapes. 2 years later, Rose is now residing in Vermont and works at a greenhouse where Gray also works. She is pursuing her passion for gardening and is living the lifestyles her father desired her to. I hope you guys loved this video. Thanks for watching the video.